Legends were made here. Inside this studio, a new genre of music was born. They called it Southern rock, and today, a new generation is writing the next verse in Capricorn's history. Now grab a cold one, sit back, relax, and get to know the artists crafting the future of music in Macon, Georgia. The week, fellas, you've been in Capricorn Studios all week long, and when you and I spoke, Adam, before, it was you wanting to find that sound that works as well in the studio as it does on the stage, at the bar, in the club, the theater, anywhere. Did you find it?
I think we did better. That's what I was. The statement of the week for me has kind of been, I didn't expect these songs to turn out the way they did, and that's a good thing. I mean, it's a testament to sort of the work we've been able to do here. So, yeah, I think it surpassed my expectations.
And you came in with some songs, but you also wrote some new ones?
We didn't do as much writing as we wanted to.
I thought it was. I mean, it was good. The three of us finished one about after the first night.
We did.
And we finished.
We got some done. Does that sound derogatory? Does that sound like we didn't get any work?
Every time you say, well, it didn't turn out the way I expected.
See, I know. Look at his face.
Okay, I'm offended.
Yeah, I know.
I'm completely offended, Mr. Hood.
If you'd let me get to my point, and,
But what's cool is the one that we wound up finishing was the first song that you had on the list that became the list for the album. Can I say the title of it?
Yeah, sure, yeah.
It's Harder Stuff.
Yeah, correct. That's
which
right.
kind of is was the theme of the album to me.
And, that was the one that was unfinished, and that was the plan to have, to be able to knock one out and try to get things done. But the truth is, I mean, the reason why we didn't really do any more writing than that was because of the fact that we kept finding songs that worked. Why write a song if you've already got one that works? And that was a good thing about that.
That's because I went through 260 songs of Adam Hood.
So you did way more work than I ever intended on doing for this record.
And how cool is that? I just thought of how cool that the one song that was the leading theme of the album, the three of us wrote, we finished it together.
Yeah.
And you start that with Davis?
Yeah, Davis Nix, he came to me with the idea, and it was like a time that I was about 6 months into the whole I'm not drinking anymore thing, and we were at a big benefit that was really what was going to be. Everybody was going to be hanging out and stuff, and I sat in my room. I said, I ain't doing this. Mm-hmm. And he came in with that idea, and I was like, well, maybe we got something else to do now. So
there you go.
Brett and I are just sitting over here talking. You're sorry, Aaron.
No, that's what it's supposed to be, man. Charlie, you got to come in and play some guitar. You got to do some songwriting. Something we had talked about stylistically was whether this album was going to be a rocker or was it going to be more in the country vein. And then as soon as I knew you were involved with it, I thought, well, there's going to be some rock and roll going on. Did you guys get to mix it up on the guitar at all?
I'm curious of your opinion on how the
Yeah. Well, I think it's a little of both, It's a real good marriage, I thought. I don't know. There's a couple of songs, hope you don't mind if I say, that are stone cold country songs, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
But then there's some stuff that you really can't put a name or a face to it. It's like, it's kind of funky, and it's definitely Southern, but I don't know. I'm not the person you would ask, hey man, is this a country song or a rock and roll song? Because that line's very blurry to me anyway.
And this is not your first rodeo in Capricorn. You've actually been here since it opened up. I mean, Blackberry Smoke has almost been the house band for Capricorn Studios in 2020. Are you beginning to feel like this is your second home?
I have keys. No, it's fantastic. I mean, it just sounds incredible in here, and I guess that's why it's legendary. I mean, incredible music was recorded here, and like when Blackberry Smoke came in, we came in for a day, earlier this year, and I couldn't believe what we got accomplished. And I mean, usually in one day you're still looking for a comfortable place to sit, or where's the refrigerator, or in an afternoon, it's just a testament to this place.
Do you think that having spent so much of your life and yours listening to the music that was recorded here prepared you for the experience?
I think I always, kind of like you said, the blend between country and rock and roll, which is really neat that it's right here in Macon, a lot of that. It's always kind of been feel like I've been preparing my whole life because of what has come out of here, without even knowing it really.
Yeah.
Adam told me that the reason he wanted you on board with this project was because you have a cool concept of who he is and what he sounds like. I want to know from you what that is.
I'm just a fan. Me and Adam started writing together 10 plus years ago.
Yeah.
And I've told him, I've made this comment several times, that if this album turns out really good, it's because I'm just a fan. If it turns out really bad, it's because I'm just a fan. And but that's the truth. I just, we hit it off early on. I remember the first day I ever walked in to write with Adam. He was writing for Carnival Music Publishing, who became my publisher as well. And he was one of the first people I ever co-wrote with. I didn't grow up co-writing. And I walked in, he said he was from Opelika, Alabama. And I said, damn, we probably kin folks then. And it's just always kind of been that way, I just know, I know the boy.
Yeah.
Did you have to steer him at all during that first session?
No. Brett's one of those guys that goes to co-write with the verse and the chorus. And the way I look at it is if you finish the verse and the chorus, you probably ought to just spend another 20 minutes and finish it up. But he's nice enough to share with me. So no, there's not much guidance that I can give Brent.
Now, you two come from down around the same part of the world.
We were just talking about that earlier. Yeah, I mean,
Charlie.
we graduated from high school within a year of each other, and schools used to play ball together, play football against each other. Yeah.
Y'all did?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yep.
Well, we actually played each other in. No, we didn't.
Yeah, no.
We actually kicked each other's asses out there on the field.
No, my dad worked in Opelika which is only 10 miles from Lynette, for 28 years or something like that, and so I spent a lot of time down there. But you always, if you're in that area, you all wind up at Auburn on Saturday anyway, or at the War Eagle Supper Club.
But
I have ended up at the War Eagle Supper Club when I should not have been at the War Eagle Supper Club.
Well, it was the only game in town for so long,
it.
Everything else would close at 2. But I remember, man, when my wife and we first started dating, she would always be like, you can't push, you got to start at midnight. My friends aren't going to come. And I'm like, babe, they're not moving this, you start at midnight.
That is the weirdest thing about going there to play is that nothing gets started until 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning.
Till everything else shuts down.
And nobody tells you that the first time you go to play or to do anything.
Well, even when I moved to Atlanta and we went back down there to play, either the Supper Club or even the Nick in Birmingham.
Yeah.
And it would be like, well, y'all don't go on till, 1. And I would think, and that's 2 my time, because I'm like, this is tomorrow. Our show is tomorrow, basically.
It's funny when you put that on your calendar and your phone and stuff. Now it's like the lines are so blurred. Well, is it Tuesday or Thursday?
Yeah.
That's funny.
Tell me about some guitars, man, because I've been wanting to ask you about that old Gibson you got. And when I walked in here today, I saw that Esquire you got. So I think that every guitar, no matter how short the story might be, should have a good one. What's the story behind that Gibson?
Credit where it's due. That's my manager, Ben Ratliff's guitar. But you played it for a couple of years.
Yeah.
I played it.
I beat the hell out of it.
Which is probably the reason why.
His manager, Ben Ratliff, used to tour manage me. He's from Zebulon, Georgia. Ben Ratliff from Zebulon. And I beat the hell out of that Gibson many times.
Now it's my turn. But it does play great.
It records wonderful.
Spectacular.
Real well.
Yeah.
What is it?
It's a 73 J45.
All right.
Yeah.
Charlie, what about that Esquire?
That Esquire, credit where it's due, belongs to Mike Reeder in Cincinnati, Ohio, Mike's Music. And he wants me to buy it. He wants a little more for it than I want to give him for it.
You're just increasing the value on it too, playing on all these Capricorns.
It's a 65. I think the jury is still out on whether or not it's a factory black Esquire, but it is a 65. But I need to. God bless you, Mike. Thank you. As soon as COVID is over and I can get back to Cincinnati, I'll bring it back to you.
It's a COVID-19 guitar.
It is.
It can't go home.
It
because
is.
of COVID-19.
But I'm hoping people that'll see this, they'll contact Mike and say, "Come on, give Charlie a better deal on that guitar."
Yeah.
Come on, Mike. Give Charlie a better deal on that
Right?
guitar.
Yeah, I second that.
So one of my favorite things to do when I was out on the road was to hit up the barbecue joints wherever I went. But you brought the barbecue with you. I was talking to Brent here, and he was saying that Ben, who we were just talking about, was hell on wheels when it came to that Traeger grill.
Yeah, he does great. Yeah, it's been nice to sort of have like food made for you instead of having to. I don't want to say we're happy to take the break, but to not have to look around and stuff. But there's a part of me that's thankful. But I feel like we've missed out on some good meals here, though. We're already making.
Yeah, that's true. Well, Charlie got H&H.
Charlie went to H&H this morning. That's right. Yeah.
Kind of got to make that stop.
Have to.
See.
Yeah.
Ben wears a pile of hats, though, just to give more credit. So not only is he managing Adam, he's tour managed me. He is working at a publishing company plugging songs. He is also a caterer, obviously. And he's the guy that kind of facilitated this whole experience on this Hood record. He also tour managed Drake White for a couple of years. And Drake's old manager, we all shared the same manager, I think.
Trey Wilson.
And Trey Wilson. And when Adam and I started talking about making this out, when he said, because I would just go to Adam and I'd go, man, I don't want any credit or anything. But let me help you pick songs. I just want to pick some songs with you for whatever you decide to do. And then one day he was just like, man, why don't you just produce the damn thing? I had never produced anything before. And so I was like, well, okay, maybe. And so then Ben said, well, why don't we just do it at Capricorn? And then you don't have to drive to Nashville. And then he said, why don't I just call Trey and see if we can get Blackberry Smoke and Rhythm Section to be the band on it? Okay.
And then we had studio dates. I mean, pretty much,
Immediately. It was all real quick. And y'all said yes. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah,
Thank you.
And then I feel like I wore everybody out for about 5 days, but maybe I
That was
did.
great. Well, we definitely had nothing else to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
I asked Brent when we came in here and sat down, I said, was your wife ready for you to get out of the house? And he said, well, what about you guys? Was it time to
Yes.
to go do so? It's time to go do something?
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that was something, like I work, I go out, do the thing during the day, I come home, but I have a young daughter and my wife, and they have their world set for that time that I'm gone, and then all of a sudden there's no more work and you're home.
Yeah.
And I upset that environment, and it took a little while for us to get into a group. Did you guys find the same thing?
Exactly the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
You realize that you're sort of infiltrating the order of how they sort of do their thing. And I realized that I realized it about the time that it was like, okay, you better get in line or you're going to be in the way. And so, I think we got a method now, but
Yeah.
I certainly follow the method. I didn't come up with it.
Yeah.
Any ghost stories in the studio this week?
Oh man.
Did you hear? Did you hear the echoes of the past?
I like the TV shows, but I've never had an experience. You know what I mean? Very much believe it happens to people, but I never had an experience till.
Did the camera? You talking about the audio on the camera?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
there's
do tell.
people talking in here, man. Like we were listening to the live audio on the camera that's in this room. I don't know where it is, but somewhere, and it's the only camera that has audio on it, and you can hear you hear the room noise, but then you can almost hear like somebody having a conversation.
Audible, like an audible male voice.
Yeah.
I don't know what they said, but I heard it, and then I heard a female voice. I mean, and this was in a 30-second period of Rob showing us like the live feed from the thing. I mean,
And
I heard
also yesterday,
It was a trip.
last night or the night before last, I was locked out. I had went outside, but I wound up getting in, and Ben came. I texted him to come get me, and he was on the way out, and I had gotten in, and right when he went to open the door, I was right there, and he was like, "Whoa!" He heard somebody walking across the room in the other room, like boots walking. He thought it was me, and I was already in the like
Wow. When did this happen last night?
last night or the night before last.
You didn't tell me that.
Yeah, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
Gone.
Well, yeah, out of this crew, you've been here more than anybody. So I mean, you might be getting in tune to everything that's going on.
I don't know. I think I'm kind
The
of
walls
like
are
you,
like
Adam.
Charlie's back.
I've never had an experience.
I
so-
think they're
Yeah.
just possessing you, and then you're great at everything that you record, that you
Aw.
play, and so that's what's happening. You're not able to experience it because you are it.
Well, bless your heart. Well, that was
Now
me.
that's deep.
That was me in that room last night.
Doggone it.
That was just me.
I forgot my phone.
Damn it, you ruined it.
Not to dive too hard to the bottom, but it has been been a very odd week in a lot of ways. There's been a ton of protests, ton of demonstrations, tons of things happening in the outside world. Sports teams choosing to not play in support of Black Lives Matter. In country music, it always seems to be a situation where it's shut up and sing. We don't want to hear about a platform. We don't want to talk about what the issues are. But as a songwriter, and I wouldn't say that any of you are necessarily political songwriters, although Brent, with your new album coming out, you've got some songs that sort of
It's like anti-political.
yeah. What's your take on that? I mean, how do you feel about that when it comes to being a songwriter and being in a tumultuous world?
I feel like that if your intention is to make a statement, whatever that statement is, I think you have the wrong intention. I think it's that, and granted, that's my opinion. But the songs that I've always respected the opinion of were people that wrote from, this is how this affects me. You know what I mean? Instead of telling me how this should affect you, let me know does that make sense? I think I'm getting my wires crossed.
Right.
But yeah, I'd
Makes
just
sense.
rather hear someone else's perspective of how they feel about something, and instead of, it's not my job to tell anyone how to think. But I'm given a gift to tell people how I feel about things. I feel like, so that where we're relative, we can be relative, and when we're not, then that's okay too. But so I don't know. I mean, I've never intentionally done it, but I don't know. Maybe that's the wrong perspective. I don't know.
I saw a Eddie Murphy quote that was awesome. That was about early on him and Spike Lee. I read this to you the other night. He and Spike Lee, people would kind of be like, "Why aren't y'all working together?" And I got it in my phone, so I'm going to paraphrase it. But he was saying that he wasn't a politician, and that he didn't go down that route, and that if he could get a message across in his art, then good. But he didn't want to be a politician about it. And I'm sort of under that same, of course we have opinions, but I feel like if I can get that message out, I mean, born in the USA, most folks don't know that's a pretty heavy song.
Yeah,
But you got more people singing about it. We don't even need to say what it's about.
Yeah.
What's awesome about it is that a lot of people are singing that song, and they may not even feel the same way about it, but they're singing it. And it may take them, I think anytime somebody's preached to, it's harder to accept. But if you discover that truth on your own, you accept it, it's easier to accept. And I believe in not preaching.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that I don't believe in not putting a message out there. I just think that you should discover that message yourself.
Do you think that that's one of the more alluring parts of songwriting, is what someone else's perspective will be on what you write?
I think you have to care a little bit, but I don't think it should affect whatever your opinion is. I think you just got to kind of, you got to think that not everybody's going to take whatever it is the same way.
Got to keep them on their toes.
Got to keep them on their toes, baby. So for me, I'm better at shutting up and singing. I'm terrible at articulating what my opinion is. I just put a song out called "Shut Up and Sing."
Golly, look at it.
That song is brilliant.
And
Thank you.
yeah, it's great.
Thank y'all. Thank you.
So, Adam, have you got a timeline at this point? I mean, you're here, you're working. I don't think were you even intending to make a record this summer? You were going to be out playing.
Well, we had made an intention to go into the studio in April, first week of April.
Oh, so
that,
we're
that
just
was it, yeah. And it's some of the people that I was going to do that record with were still going to participate in this one, but I'm really thankful that didn't happen. I think this is a way better record. Way better record. Not that one would have been bad, but this is a pretty. I mean, we've kind of been talking about it all week. It's nice to be a part of a pretty unique project,
And it is having you three and everybody else that's been coming through here and doing it. It's been an important factor to me to see not just the history get brought back to the forefront of Capricorn Studios, but to see new music, from new artists coming in and making records here.
Mm-hmm.
So thanks guys for coming and doing that.
Oh man,
My pleasure.
Charlie, I gotta say, we don't have to go dig down in there, but One Horse Town,
Yeah.
to me, has such a message, kind of like I'm talking about, that it doesn't preach something to you, but you feel.
You understand the person's perspective.
Yeah. Anyway,
thank you.
Yeah, I just want to say, you don't even have to comment on that, but to me, that is exactly what I mean on shutting up and singing.
Yeah.
And saying something,
I get that, and it really is. I guess I'm not comparing it to Born in the USA at all, of course, but it is similar in the idea. Like,
Sure.
It's not a. Yeah, you know what I mean.
I know what you mean. It's just a cool message that you're not preaching. Mm-hmm. You're like, you want to sing along to that. I don't know. I think it's awesome.
I heard a good buddy of mine yesterday. We were talking about. What a confusing, crazy, scary, sad time. It's all just. It's like it runs the gamut of like, and he's like, Todd Snyder not long ago. He's like, it's a strange idea. Fighting for peace, if you think about it, is a strange idea. It's like screaming for silence. That was the way he put it. I thought, obviously people will probably disagree with me when I say that, but I thought that turned my head when I read it. I was like, wow, that's a good point. But Bob last night was like, things don't get better when a situation is bad until every person realizes that they are responsible for their own actions. You can't just look at a group of people and go, you have to do this and you're responsible for this person and this person. Everybody's got to be like, I got to do the right thing.
That's right.
So I don't even know if that's
And
possible.
it may not even be possible.
Yeah.
Well, it seems like a lot more manageable to just be responsible for one person as opposed to a
Which-
group.
which
I can
is,
barely do that.
Right. It's a lot of work.
Exactly. Which isn't that nice? We're fortunate enough to be able to write songs for a living, because that is the only time you do feel like you can be sort of half responsible for your actions.
Yeah.
I know that's the way I feel.
Yeah.
Generally, you guys would be all out. Studio schedules notwithstanding, would be all out touring, working, going to different cities, seeing what's happening across America in real time. That's not the case this year. COVID-19 has stopped that. I have seen the concern about people who are not touring and working and being able to play music. Just recently, this week, Justin Towns Earl passed away. And I had somebody say to me, well, they ought to chalk that up to COVID-19, because if he had been working, that wouldn't happen. Well, you can't really say that. But at the same time, have you guys experienced that kind of feeling, the depression of not being out and working? Or or have you been able to help somebody who's had that problem?
I made a post that was like, hey, anybody needs to talk, get in touch with me. We talk about whatever you want to talk about. It don't even have to be, heavy. And but I don't think it's just musicians. I think it's a lot going on in the country right now, and a lot of folks idle hands. Like all the fingers. Idle thumbs make devil's works.
That's the name of the record.
It is. Idle hands make the
Again,
devil's
that
work.
would be another great super group title.
Yeah.
Idle thumbs. Who are you guys on the road with, bro? Idle Thumb.
Coming this summer.
Heard Idle
Amazing.
Thumb,
Brent Cobb, Adam Hood at Charlie Starr.
man.
Idle
but
Thumb.
idle hands make devils work. You know what I'm saying?
They're on Bonnaroo this year, actually. Idle Thumbs.
I don't think it's just down to musicians. I think it's the whole country. Like it's a weird time, you know, and
Well, and I think
Jesus Christ, I can't either now. I'm trying to make a cool, important point. Now, you know?
But actually, you just made my point because this here, the laughter that we get to do that, and it immediately, I feel better from the laughter, which is what you used to get to do. You get on
Yes.
stage and you let all of that out,
Yeah.
and that's the therapy of that, the catharsis of that. That to me is where the problem comes in.
We might not be able to recover.
Yeah. And I'm blaming this on COVID, too.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. Idle Thumbs is
Baby, best thing to come out of COVID is idle thumbs.
for sure. Yeah, that's why I'm naming my record. So all right, I'm done.
But gentlemen, I thank you so much for your time, man. I know you guys have still got work to do, and I really appreciate this.
Man, thanks
Thank
for
y'all
doing
very
it.
much.